Morning. Morning. Right, when you're ready, we'll start with Rob Dorset.
Gareth, good to see you. Can we start, please, where we often do with Wayne Rooney? This is the second consecutive squad that you've left Wayne Rooney out of.
Mm-hmm.
Is his international career over?
Not doesn't have to be. I think from Wayne's point of view, obviously he's not played very much this season. Other people have come into the squad and have done really well. In very good form. As far as I'm concerned, obviously Wayne, it would appear, has got some decisions to make across the summer regarding next season. But the hope is that he's back playing really well, and a player of his quality, there's no way that we would dismiss him from the future.
You said last time, in March, when you left him out of the squad, that he needs to be playing regularly in the biggest possible matches. Is that you making a very clear statement that Wayne Rooney needs to leave Manchester United and play regularly if he's going to get back in this England squad?
Oh, I think probably that's a general situation, that you want your players playing in the biggest possible games. That's the best test for them. I've no idea what the future is for Wayne with Manchester United, so very difficult for me to comment on whether he's part of the plans there or not. But as I say, we hope he's back playing regularly and playing well, and then he's a fantastic player to have in your squad.
Jose Mourinho seems to think of Wayne Rooney now as a substitute, or certainly as a backup to his first choice strikers. Is that as you see him now?
I think he's, he can play a number of different positions. We've got competition for places. I can't really hide from that. We want competition for places. We've got some exciting young players coming through who are in good form. So in every position, right through the squad, there's competition, and that's what we want. That helps to breed a good culture amongst the team.
Have you spoken to Wayne about it?
I've spoken to him in the past about,
but not this time.
Not this time, because in the end, I think there's only so many times you can speak about the situation, we've been very clear. I'm very conscious that, again, it's the first question you asked me, so I'm conscious from his point of view that it's always a big story when you don't select him, and I want to do that in the right way. Equally, when we've had previous conversations, there's no point in revisiting those at this stage.
I want to talk to you about Marcus Rashford. A big decision for you to put him in the senior squad and not the under-21s. When you were the under-21s manager, you spoke in a very heartfelt way about the importance of England's young players getting tournament experience.
Yep.
You seem to have gone against your own mantra with this one. Why have you done that?
Well, I'm still of the belief that it's great for our young players to get experience. We've seen that with the under-17s getting to the final a couple of weeks ago. We're seeing it now with the under-20s playing out in Korea in the World Cup. So it is an important part of their development. Equally, when you're talking about young players, you've got to look at the individual, what's right for the individual. With Marcus, if we'd had the conversation in November, December, I'd have been looking, as I said at the time, where great for him to be involved with the under-21s if possible. As the season's gone on, he's become a more integral part of Manchester United's team. I thought his contribution for us in March was excellent, not only in the matches where I thought he had a really good impact, but also on the training pitch and around the camp. And in my eyes, he's a senior player. He's played less for the under-21s in this cycle of games than Eric Dyer, and we wouldn't be talking about Eric going. So it was not a difficult decision that he should be with the senior team for the two matches we've had. Then there is a debate that you could have around should he then go down and play with the under-21s, but my view on that is he's played in around 60 matches this season, and he's the youngest player in our squad. He'd be the youngest player in the under-21 squad. And so I think that needs some managing carefully, and that has outweighed the possibility of him going with the under-21 side this time.
Spain, who I know you study a lot of the other European teams and how they do it, they've got 5 of their players that have been capped with the senior squad, playing regularly for Real Madrid, Atletico, Barcelona, that are playing in the under-21s. Juan Mata won the World Cup in 2011, went the following summer to play in the under-21s. Do we not have the resources for you to be able to do that? Is that the issue?
Well, the competition for places is part of the issue, definitely, because Mata was struggling to get into their senior squad. Sanchez with Portugal's got the same situation at the moment. He's at Bayern Munich, but he's not been selected for the Confederations Cup squad. So there is something around the depth. Some of our best players are our youngest at the moment, and I think it's important we give them their opportunity with the senior team. So they're in the senior team on merit. But I am very conscious of the pathway. I think we're joined up in all of our thinking. That's not been a decision that we've taken lightly, because understandably internally there's a desire to take the strongest possible squad to Poland. But we also have Redmond, Ward-Prowse, Chambers, who've all played for the seniors, who are part of that squad and have been part of that squad right the way through. And I think that's also important.
Have you decided who your captain will be for these 2 games?
No, I haven't, actually. Andy asked me about that earlier, and we're actually, it's quite interesting, there's a lot of potential leaders emerging from this group, and again, that's good because there's always been this focus on one person and an over-reliance on one person. We've tried to spread that a little bit. We've tried to make sure that we're encouraging others to lead, and we're in a position where we could go in a number of different ways with that. So that's a healthier situation as far as I'm concerned.
When will you decide? Will it be dictated by the starting 11 then, do you think, or how the players take on the leadership mantle maybe when they're in training and you see that?
Yeah, there's a bit of everything, I suppose. I have a clear idea in my mind of what our likely team is, but there's a couple of positions that also, I want to have a look at people in training, see how see their level. We've got a bit of a break now from the end of the Premier League season to our match with Scotland. So, you just want to make sure people are back up to the level that you need them to be. And as I say, there's competition. So, at the moment, I don't think there's many people that are guaranteed their place, which makes the captaincy a bigger decision.
You called up Kieran Trippier for the first time. England are very strong in the fullback positions. What's impressed you from him?
Yeah, he's. I watched him a lot at Burnley. He's got a good mentality. I like the way that he his play in the final third of the pitch is of a high quality. His delivery is one of the best crosses in the league, I think. His selection of pass is good. It's obviously been an unusual situation. We've had two of our best fullbacks, both at Tottenham, and it's been nice from our point of view that Kieran's had matches towards the end of the season that's enabled us to have a more realistic case for picking him, because he's somebody that we've been following right the way through. So we'll be without Nathaniel Klein as well now. He'd been carrying an injury, and that's kind of why we named 3 right backs. We thought that might be a bit of an issue. So we'll be with Kieran and Kyle Walker. But Kieran impressed me at Burnley in the season they had in the Premier League when he was there, and I think he's finished the season very well with Tottenham.
I wanted to ask you about security. Clearly 8 days ago there was a tragedy that affected this nation quite significantly. It's the first time we've spoken to you since then. Have you had to review security around the England team? Is it something you've spoken to your bosses about?
We haven't had to review it as such because we're always reviewing it. We've got a very good team that we trust. Whenever there are incidents, then our guys are very alert to what's going on. I guess at this point it's probably the first time I've spoken publicly, so I should say our thoughts are definitely with the victims of Manchester, their families, and we're conscious that there's that balance of sport and life at this moment in time. But from our point of view, one of the messages we have to give is that as a national football team, we have to keep working and keep showing that things like this won't affect us as a country. We are respectful of those who've lost their lives and their families, but we also recognise that to have the right message towards terrorism is to keep doing what you're doing and to keep working in the way that you normally work. That's not easy for anybody, but we feel a responsibility to do that, and we feel it's our duty representing the national team to do that.
Thank you for that. Back to the football. Scotland, a huge rivalry. How does the rivalry compare, do you think, say, with England-Germany? You've experienced both of those games. Which is the stronger?
Well, they probably dislike us more, would be my observation. Different. I think it's, of course, it's a more local rivalry, and the history of matches probably goes back even further. But we're never left in any with any illusions of what they think of us when we go there. So I'm looking forward to it. I like going into those occasions where you feel like the world's against you in the stadium, and you put your flag in the sand, and you in a sporting sense fight for your country. So I love that. We will have to overcome a team who are buoyed by a good performance in March. They had a difficult night at Wembley against us, but their performance in March against Slovenia was very good, and they deservedly won. So that's kept them alive in the group, which makes the game, a bit tougher for us. We're looking forward to the challenge.
Thanks, Rob. Any further questions? Okay, we'll head through to the daily written briefing now.